From Chesapeake, Virginia, WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And we are live as always, Sports Scene on this July 12th. Hope everybody's doing well. An interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Greg Bicouvaris along with Joe Daniel. Glad you're with us on this very hot, humid July 12th. What else is new? Tell your friends about gjbtv.com, Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at gjbtv, HR Online, Malcom, WHKT AM 1650. Thank you to our military. Guest lineup, Andy Hilton from Recruit 757 will be our featured guest. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with two great locations in Virginia Beach. As well, you can see their link on Hampton Roads onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville in Virginia Beach. Thanks to Spaghetti Eddies as well. All-Star break, of course, went well last night right there in Miami. The Tides as well taking a break. Preseason football right around the corner. Folks, enjoy the beach and the pool while you can. In the summer, it'll be cool before you know it. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars and newcomers as well. So we have a lot to talk about on Sports Scene today. We're live right here at Greg Bick on Twitter. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. We'll be back after these messages. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddies. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, folks, we're live right here. Sports Scene, July 12th. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. This is the only remaining talk show from Red Zebra that existed from 2007 to 2013. We still wish them well at ESPN 980 in D.C. Along with Joe Daniel, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. All right, let's welcome this gentleman. We've had him on Sports Highlights, Sports Scene on several stations I've worked for in the past as well. Let's welcome from Recruit 757, Andy Hilton. Andy, have you added any more titles lately?
Oh, let's see. We now have Recruit 804 up and rolling, Recruit Nova, which is Northern Virginia. So we've got a ton of things happening, but we still have our eyes focused on the 757 and the football that happens here.
All right, let's start off with a few things. If I would have told you at the end of, let's just say, 2014, that Oscar Smith would have had three coaches in 3 years in 15, 16, and 17, would you have believed it?
Certainly not, although Rich Morgan left for good reasons. He landed a big job down in Georgia, down in Marietta, which I'm sure you know about, most people know about, not everybody does. They paid him quite a bit of money to uproot from Oscar Smith and head to Georgia, and Oscar Smith at this point hasn't missed a beat.
Right, well, what are they going to do now? They lost the former Phoebus, Southampton, and their coach, Bill D., unfortunately passed away. What is their move? I know they've got a coach. Is everything status quo? What do you think?
Well, it seems like they're in good hands. Scott Johnson was the head coach at Western Branch. The big concern there is that Scott had several losing seasons and lost the job at Western Branch. That's why he's Oscar Smith. But he has been an assistant coach at Oscar Smith for 5 years. So he knows the other coaches there at Oscar Smith. He knows the players. He knows the circumstances. He's a teacher at the school, so he's certainly well connected. The remaining question is, can he take a winning culture and a team that is rooted in that winning culture and continue to win with them? The odds are certainly good for them he has to prove it by winning this season.
There was some talk that he might have not wanted to continue to coaching, but this was a special, unique opportunity, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. He came to Oscar Smith because there was, I don't want to put words in the man's mouth, but yeah, he didn't have as much of an interest in being a head coach after losing the Western Branch job. He was happy as an assistant coach at Oscar Smith, but certainly this is a great opportunity for him, and it's certainly a great chance for him to prove himself.
All right, this is Sports Scene live every Wednesday, 92.5 FM, 1650 AM. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us, talking to Andy Hilton as well. Andy, let's talk about that old expression, all those that have power are afraid to lose it, and that definitely is the case for Mike Smith, still going on since 1971 at Hampton High School, been there since the 60s.
Absolutely. Well, Mike is getting up there in age. It seems like you could have said 10 years ago he's getting too old for the game, but he still continues coaching. I've laughed before that I think he's going to die on the field because he certainly shows no signs of wanting to step down from that job. Hampton continues to win. He makes a few mistakes from time to time, and he's definitely old school, which rubs some people the wrong way, but the winning speaks for itself.
It does. Winning definitely cures a lot of ills. All right, let's talk about Division 5, Division 6, kind of recap the highlights from the state championships, and what do you expect going into the summer and the fall?
Well, let's start with Division 6. It's interesting to note that a lot of the teams, of course, the entirety of Virginia Beach is 5A and 6A, and Virginia Beach doesn't really have an obvious power this year. Last year, some of the power was sucked away by Bishop Sullivan taking a few players. They've taken even more. Last year, the Beach was won by Cox, a 6A program. They lost Jordan Williams, their big lineman, who's gone on to Clemson, and they really don't have a good replacement for him, so the Beach is up for grabs. Even at 5A and 6A, really your 6A powerhouse looks to be Oscar Smith, as Ocean Lakes has kind of taken a fall with losing all those players to Bishop Sullivan. Joe Jones has come into Ocean Lakes to build that program back up and is doing a great job there. But it looks like Oscar Smith will be the powerhouse. Bayside will be in the mix. Woodside will be in the mix. There's some good teams, but Westfield took out Oscar Smith in the state title game. It's possible that Oscar Smith, again, as we discussed with Scott Johnson leading the way, if they can continue what they've been doing, Oscar Smith could be back in that title game because they really haven't lost much in the terms of talent.
But no national TV games for Oscar Smith. It seems like some of that cachet is worn off a little bit.
It has, because they haven't won those games. However, their only out-of-district game this year is against Vero Beach, which is a power from Florida. That team played IMG last year, which is known as one of the top teams in the country, and Vero Beach challenged them. Bishop Sullivan, however, when it comes to schedule strength, has one of the top 25 schedules in the nation. They're playing not only IMG, but playing a number of different schools that are out of the region. They can't get regional schools to play them, so they have to go out of region and even out of state to get challenges.
Andy, most of the high schools on the south side and the peninsula, they had their graduations in mid-June. And it troubles me that before they even have a chance to take their shoes off, relax, unwind with their families and friends, these eager coaches on both sides of the water have these kids in sweltering heat trying to practice in June, whether it's no pads or not. I am not for that at all. These kids need a mental health break, and this is exactly how you burn football out.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's not as bad as AAU basketball, for example. And, of course, you hear plenty of stories about AAU baseball and travel teams and so forth. High school football is uniquely one of the sports where the high school season is still more important than a club team or an AAU schedule. And unfortunately, I think that you're not going to see that habit go away in terms of trying to keep kids trained up, because the majority of them, if they're serious about pursuing football dreams, serious about going on to college or maybe even the NFL, that happens for a few, moms and dads are going to buy into the idea that they need to practice and train as much as possible. A lot of them hire personal trainers to help them get as good as they can be in the off season. So unfortunately, even though it's an uncomfortable reality for you, I don't think you're going to see it go away anytime soon.
Well, here's the uncomfortable reality. It's 100 degrees outside right now in July. I don't have a problem with people working out, going to the pool, going to the beach, walk a little bit, throw the football around a little bit too. But to get them out of their parents' work schedule, to stop what they're doing, to get a bus or to drive up there and carpool to practice football in June or July when all their other peers are relaxing in the sun, I get it. One-on-one training, workout, have a buddy system. I get all that. But not organized stuff on school property when everybody else just got out of graduation a week ago.
Well, and the VHSL, and to their merit, does have a dead period, which just ended on Sunday. So there is a week, if not 2 weeks, where high schools can't have camps or can't have workouts. Colleges can't have camps. So there is supposed to be some self-enforced inactivity, although they can train. They can do 7-on-7. That is not organized by the high school. There's still stuff going on, but one argument will also be made that in August, the heat is still here, the games start up, and you see plenty of cramps, see plenty of injuries happen early on when the heat is present. No amount of August practice is even going to prepare kids for being in pads and competing come August 25th when the first games of the season start.
Right. I know it's starting earlier and earlier every year. I get that. They were practicing in August when I was in high school. I understand that, but they weren't doing all this organization. These are not professional football players. Half of them won't even go to college, whether it's Division I, II, or III. And really, it's just a shame because, they're giving their time, their talent, their treasure, and then they get burned out and run out of gas in October with still plenty of football left. That's just my opinion. I've been broadcasting high school football for several decades in Northern Virginia and Newport News, and it's just burnout. Kids get burned out. And then the distractions now, as you know, Andy, when you see a kid walking around or an adult, they're addicted to their phone.
Oh yeah, and to give you an honest answer on joining the team, tryouts typically are, and I was just looking at some last night, that one of the local teams, their official tryout for football is July 27th and 28th. That's leading into the official start of practice. So if a student didn't want to participate or their parent didn't want them to participate until football officially started, they could opt out of that. But then again, you have competitive nature. If the stuff's going on and it's not mandatory, they're still going to feel obligated to participate in the non-mandatory activities of the football team.
Right, but these are still 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, giving up of their summers. And really, you know what? That's how they get burned out. That's how they lose interest by the time they get to their sophomore and junior years. It's not a business, for kids. It's a business for adults, and that's the problem, which gets to me on this point as well. After the season's over, several of these all-star games happen in Norfolk or Peninsula versus Southside. What's the premise of these? What is really the agenda behind that to take these kids away right after the regular season's over and have some all-star game that's really low attended?
Well, the all-star game, if its intention is to get scholarship offers for kids because they haven't done they get one more opportunity to showcase, or they don't play on a team that gives them the opportunity to showcase in front of as many college coaches as they'd like, I think it's a great opportunity. Where it's for the kids who have already made a college commitment or they have all the offers they need, it's more of an exhibition and more really of a congratulations for the kid to participate. It doesn't serve much purpose other than a pat on the back. Now, we could argue whether or not it's necessary. I would say it's far more beneficial to the kid who hasn't worked out his college offer yet, or he wants one last hurrah in playing high school football. Otherwise, you're right, it certainly doesn't serve as much of a purpose as people would make it out to be.
Right. I mean, the whole expression, everything in moderation, I really don't think that exists with high school football anymore. I really, really don't. Nothing is in moderation in high school football, and part of that's the VHSL as well. Let's talk about that as we're talking to Andy Hilton. It is 12:20 on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. This is Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Hello to all the locals and tourists driving throughout Hampton Roads and beyond Virginia and even Maryland, listening or online on TuneIn.com. The VHSL is really kind of the last several years jumbled the divisions. It's hard to tell who's playing who and what they're playing for, but my biggest problem is the postseason when losing records are honored.
Yeah, and that's the way that they approached it. They were begged to expand the postseason because the flip side of it was when you cut the field in half, Then you have teams that are 8-2, 9-1, finishing the season and not going to the playoffs, and that was a problem too. So, is there a happy medium to be had? Do you take the field, instead of making it from 16 to 32, for example, do you take it from 16 to 24 so you don't end up with 3-7 and 2-8 teams qualifying? I think so. I mean, we've illustrated some examples at the lower levels where a team from the Eastern Shore, and I believe they were 1A, traveled all the way to Stanton as an 8 seed to play the number 1 seed in Stanton. That's about an 8-hour trip one way, and they got their tails beat and had to go back home. Making the playoffs certainly was no cause for celebration for them.
No, not at all. I totally agree. The long bus trips, even going from, let's say, Woodside all the way to Grassfield High School or Oscar Smith, you know how the cheese box is going 64 on a Friday? Are you kidding me? They got to leave at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sure. Absolutely. I agree. They've had some example where, getting away from high school football for a minute, the new conference championships in girls softball, Hickory and Great Bridge won the tournament down to the final teams, and the tournament final was played in Gloucester. So the 2 teams from Chesapeake had to drive to Gloucester to play a championship game. It's ridiculous.
Not to mention pay a toll as well to get there, which is
actually an hour and a half each way and a toll on top of it.
Yeah, not to mention that toll is not too bad, Andy, unlike Portsmouth and Norfolk where they double charge and triple charge people every day to go through the tolls. All you tourists out there listening right now, let me just give you some advice. Avoid going from Portsmouth to Norfolk, because probably you'll get home in 2 weeks and it'll be a double charge, a triple charge. So just try to avoid going from Portsmouth to Norfolk or Norfolk to Portsmouth. There's back roads. Unfortunately, Andy, the tourists don't know them.
Yes, and the only main road that's an alternative is Interstate 64, where you have a high-rise bridge, which is old and only 2 lanes each way. And don't get me started on how we build roads around here. And when we make improvements, we only add 1 lane. We don't plan for future use. Let's just plan for right now.
Andy, you know that good and well, too. That's a great point, because Grassfield High School is right there by the toll now, and now people basically have to go pay to go see Grassfield play football.
Yes, they do, unless they want to drive through Great Bridge around and around to get the Grassfield, which either way, you pay the toll or you're driving a lot longer to get where you need to go.
What about Tommy Raymond's Lansdowne team in Virginia Beach?
They have a young team, and they're coming along. So that's, like I mentioned earlier, about the Beach District. There's a lot of up-and-comers. Lansdowne should challenge. Bayside will be good, although they lost several players to Bishop Sullivan. Paulwood is going to be a team that makes some noise, and Princess Anne is going to be a team that makes some noise, and that's going to surprise some people this fall.
It was Princess Anne was down for years.
Yes, they have been down for years, but they have a good core of kids that are already landing college scholarship offers, and they're going to win some games this year. They're not going to be relegated to the bottom of the pack like they have been in the past.
I'm at several Todd Stadium games, but how is the attendance, in your opinion, from when you first started to recruit 757? I'm talking both sides of the water, compared to when you first started to now at games?
Unfortunately, I think attendance is not as strong. I think, like you mentioned, kids are paying too much attention to their phones. People are attached to the internet and more than willing to just stay home on a Friday night rather than go out and support local football. So a lot of the crowd that you see in the stands is made up of more of family members and less of the community, and we need to get some community pride back and have people understand how important it is to root these young men and women, in the case of women's sports, on in their pursuit, even if it's just for the activity and for the fun. It's a great time and inexpensive entertainment. We just need to get the community banded back together again.
Right, because that's a good point. Almost like Little League now. It's really just the parents and maybe their grandparents and some of the boosters at school that really care. You're right. The greater attendance is not there for high school sports. It could be the pricing, the time, just the traffic, just people want to have downtime. Let's talk about a girls sport real quick too. One of the women that played for Miami and Woodside, Adrian Motley, she got cut by the WNBA. Were you surprised?
WNBA is not something I keep up with so much, so I can't speak to whether or not she qualifies to play at that level. It's certainly a shame to see a person with local ties lose that opportunity. But we can hope that Adrian has another opportunity waiting in the wings.
All right, let's talk about as far as the recruits and the blue chippers that are going to be playing college football this fall. Talk about some of the highlights and the keys that were part of the 757 schools last year that we should be looking out for in the college football games on Saturday this year.
Well, we certainly have a lot of local players that have the potential to contribute in big ways this year. Florida State has to, on the national scene, has to be one of the big ones to keep track of because Levante Taylor out of Bishop Sullivan is a full-time cornerback there. Derek Noddy, who is a lineman, defensive tackle out of Ocean Lakes, is contributing in a big way there, and also defensive end Josh Sweat from Oscar Smith is contributing in a huge way there. So we've got three names to follow at Florida State. Virginia Tech is loaded with local guys. Devin Hunter out of Indian River committed there for last year's recruiting class and has an opportunity to crack the starting lineup as a state safety. We're seeing kids like Ricky Walker, who is coming into, I believe, his senior year and is finally getting a chance to get a full-time gig on the defensive line. You've got players at Old Dominion, East Carolina, Daz Newsome coming into UNC. He was a great grab by the Carolina Tar Heels last year. He has a chance to be an all-around baller for Carolina because he can return kicks. He can play defensive back. He's a great slot receiver. There's a lot of things he can do very well. I could go on and on and on about JMU, William & Mary, Richmond. There's a lot of local guys to follow. So if you have a regional favorite college football team, there's certainly some local guys contributing to the success of that team.
Glad to see that for William & Mary for a long time. They didn't have a whole lot of 757 players, surprisingly, in Williamsburg.
Yes, and they do now. They have Devontae Dedman out of War Hill. They have a quarterback in Tommy McKee out of Cox. They also have a quarterback in Sean Mitchell out of Oscar Smith, and he's been a huge success story for them in the offseason. He graduated in January and graduated high school in January, enrolled at William & Mary in January, played in the spring game, had spring practices. Sean Mitchell is going to come on strong as a quarterback option for William & Mary.
Absolutely. All right, Andy, leave us with all your social media connections.
Well, it's Recruit757 on Facebook, Recruit757 on Twitter, and on Instagram. We're doing a lot with social media, as we always do. In the fall, we keep people updated on Twitter with scores as they happen. And, of course, you can visit us on Recruit757.com, Recruit804, and RecruitNova.com for updates on all three regions for basketball and football, but we're certainly looking forward to a big football season.
Absolutely. Andy, have a safe rest of the summer. Stay cool, and we'll talk to you again.
Greg, thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
You too, my friend. Always a pleasure. Andy Hilton right there from Recruit 757 as well. Always want to thank Andy for coming on Sports Scene every Wednesday right here. Our show takes place from 12 to 1. Lock it in on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. Archives, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link as well. I want to thank Outback Steakhouse at 1255 Fordham Drive. Go by and see Mike and the friendly staff. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. They've got great appetizers, excellent salads, soups as well, steaks like the filet mignon, the ribeye as well. Also great potatoes and sides, chicken, ribs, chops, and more. And also straight from the sea, excellent seafood, desserts, curbside takeaway, all at Outback Steakhouse. Join their Dine Rewards as well. Get 50% off every fourth visit. They are located at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 523-4832. Outback Steakhouse. Don't miss a meal. Bold seasonings, the way you like it, tourists. Just Google Outback Steakhouse, 1255 Fordham Drive, Virginia Beach. With Joe Daniel, Greg Bicouvaris, stay tuned for the news. Sports Scene will continue after the news.
Sports Scene, Hampton Road's premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Wednesday from 12 to 1 on AM 1650 and TuneIn.com.
It was a very proactive role for one gentleman, but the Board of Visitors and Wood Selig and the president kind of let him know that there is a pecking order involved.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Wednesdays at noon on AM 1650, The Answer.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, This fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddie'sPizzaCafe.com.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com.
All right, welcome back right here to Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1 as well. Go to gjbtv.com, click the YouTube link for archive shows as well, and shop on the pages of gjbtv.com Marketplace sponsors. Take a look at the Hall of Fame as well on gjbtv.com and all the great icons, the media collage, archives. We've got it all. The tennis tournament. Don't forget the Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament will take place tomorrow on the 13th at 5 o'clock at the James River Country Club in Newport News. Open to the public, free admission, 5 o'clock, James River Country Club, Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament in honor of my mother, who passed away May 2nd, 2001, will be taking place tomorrow, 5 o'clock at the James River Country Club. Will Perlman versus Bill Saunders. And we've had it on radio and TV before as well in the past. All right, save the date for Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit, bookmark it, folks. A lot of great pages like restaurants, retail, services, marketplace on Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. All right, we'll continue with Sports Scene after these messages.
Every first and fourth Saturday of the month, it's the My Vote Call-In radio show right here on AM 1650 at 1 p.m. Your hosts, Suffolk Councilman Lou Ward and Johnny Edwards, they're bringing you the most up-to-date news. It's politics, business, healthcare, education, community, and even how to win an election. The My Vote Call-In radio show every first and fourth Saturday at 1 p.m. right here on AM 1650.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddie'sPizzaCafe.com.
Classical educators of long ago understood that education begins at birth. Education is more than going to school. It's the formation of a whole person, and that takes a lifetime. That's the philosophy of Calvary Classical School, an accredited classical Christian school in Hampton. Calvary Classical School incorporates grammar, logic, and rhetoric. For a better way to learn, call 262-0062 or log on to calvaryclassical.org.
Want to provide a private education for your kids, but think the cost is just out of your reach? Then give us a call at 488-1010 and ask us about our tuition solution. We have a partnership program with private schools in the Hampton Roads area that allows us to offer up to a 40% discount on tuition. And it's not just schools, but daycares as well. Don't let anything hold you back from the Christian education your children deserve. Give us a call at 488-1010 or visit our website at tuitionsolution.org. You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
Volare, oh, cantare, oh, let's fly way up to the clouds, away from the maddening crowd.
All right, welcome back live right here to Sports Scene. Hope you enjoyed Andy Hilton from Recruit 757. We talked baseball last week, of course, and this week a little prep football, college football with Andy Hilton. Always good to talk to Andy. Let's welcome a very dear Baltimore Orioles fan from Yorktown, Cathy Dress. How are you, Cathy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. Tell us about your business, Elements.
I own Elements Personal Healing, and I am a holistic practitioner. I'm certified in several modalities, including Body Talk, Acunet. I work with Chinese medicine. I work with craniosacral fascial release, known as CFP, and it's a wonderful, natural way to get your body and your mind into that healing mode. And so it's very complementary to Western medicine because you can hold emotions and memories and beliefs and other things within anything from your family history, your any traumas, any injuries. And you deal with sports. You know about the players of any sport that have that can go through injuries and traumas and trying to heal from that.
It's not just that too, Cathy, is that people's time is so important today that our demands on our time, whether it's personal or family, but these extracurricular activities like meetings during business hours or meetings after work or meetings during dinner time, it's almost like too much. And sometimes it's good to decompress, put your feet in the sand, go to the beach and kind of recharge your batteries because our demands on people's time is very limited.
Well, yeah, we have way too many demands, and I was listening to your conversation with Andy a little bit and talking about how, everybody's on their cell phones and everybody's on their media, and we are an energy field, and we live within an energy field, and that, all the social media, all the electromagnetic energies, that can interfere with our healing. You think about, people holding their phones in their pockets and on their waistbands, the meridians and chakras that I work with, those can serve as an interference. And we think that we don't have enough time in our day, but we all have the same 24 hours. And within a Chinese medicine clock, we're going through the 5 elements every single day. So it's making sure that we're balanced in every single area.
That is so true. The key is balance right there. But I guess as we get older, we should be able to pick and choose what we want to do after hours as well. Because if you're not happy in a club or an activity, why stay in it? Because it's just going to drain your energy, whether it's an email or some type of item that you have to go to after work or something you're not liking anymore. I really think energy drainers have to go.
Yeah, and we have to be aware that it's an energy drainer and start thinking and being within what we call our heart mind. You've got 3 minds. You've got your brain in your head, you've got your heart mind, and you've got your gut brain. And all 3 need to work together. If you think about the, I listen to my gut or my gut intuition. I memorize something by heart. You don't say you memorize it by brain. And with that, we need to come to a much better awareness within our own lives as well as our family and work lives on what's nourishing to us, what feeds us in different ways versus what is draining us. There's a saying that nothing happens to us without our permission, and it really is quite true when you sit back and think about it. If we are allowing situations and other people and things and relationships to drain us, that's on us.
Oh, I so agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, that comes into our healing.
Mm-hmm. It's like sitting in your car without air conditioning in the heat is like going to a club or activity after you've worked 40 hours for a week that you're no longer inspired by. I guess it's also, too, if you've outgrown something, unfortunately you see that in marriages, too, where you're always having to stay fresh and reflect and so forth because, my parents were married for almost 40 years, but you don't see many marriages like that compared to 20 years ago. It's almost like the quick out. So really it's physical, emotional, spiritual, and how you do your time, your talent, and your treasure, and what you do with your life every day, because we all have to take a time for ourselves.
Right, and welcoming that transition that we have in our lives every single day. We're not meant to live in the past. We're not meant to live in the future. We're meant to live now. And what you just said about marriages, next week I'll celebrate my 36th wedding anniversary. So, are we the same people that we were 36 years ago? Oh, no, and we're not meant to be. And that takes, a commitment to growing with each other and allowing the other person to grow.
Right. And you look at sports teams, too, like your Orioles, too. You almost have to wonder, and just to move in that type of realm connected to sports here, after a while, like Buck Showalter, whatever he's doing, he's not connecting to the players, the synergy, the energy, whatever. I mean, Joe Paterno was an exception. He was at Penn State for 62 years, but I know his message got old there too. But like you're an Orioles fan and their pitching is horrible right now, it might not just be the pitchers. It could be who's giving the pitchers the message as well.
Well, it can be a combination. And if you think about, I work with something called WHKT, which is your overall healthy protective boundaries, and that's governed by your liver. And your liver is one of the most important organs you've got, and it's the only one that will regenerate itself so that you can actually be a live donor for a liver, and your liver will regenerate as well as the part that you donate will also then regenerate within the other person. If a pitcher, say Zach Britton, he's, trying to come back from injuries. All right, so everybody's complaining he came back, too soon, or what is he giving to the team, or what he's not. We can get up all in our heads and just have all those thoughts running crazy. And yeah, that's an imbalance among those meridians, and yes, that can be helped and worked on. So is Buck seeing something in each of them? Yeah, he is. Are they able or physically capable of giving back, everything right now? Obviously not. I mean, we're, 4 games below 500, and, I'm going up to see them this weekend and, to play the Cubs, so I'm rooting them on, and yeah, it does mean that in all senses, not just the physical rehab that those pitchers have been having to go through, but the mental rehab, that mind component that plays a part in everything.
Right. And, of course, people you hang out with as well, too. I mean, it could be on and off the field, just like in life, on and off the field, whether it's business hours or people you hang out with after work, could be draining the energy and also be Debbie Downers.
Well, and it's a good thing to sit back and, and figure out, just kind of look at, not judge it as being good or bad, but just to look at, is this relationship nourishing to me? If you've got, a friend that, is constantly, I hate to use the word leech, but, you feel like it's leeching, that, you're constantly there for them, but yet they're not there for you, then that's you giving and them taking, and there's no equal energy balance in that. There's no give and take. And that would be an unhealthy relationship.
Leave us with all the social media. How do people get a hold of you? You can see her wonderful website. We're going to have her back on, too, on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Cathy Dress, give us all your social media.
My email is personalhealing1@gmail.com. My website is elementsforpersonalhealing.com. And there is a connection, on one of the pages, on how to reach me. My work number is 598-2065. That's a 757. Of which, yes, I know you guys were talking about the 757. I am proud to be from here.
Yeah.
And looking forward to my Hokies, having a great season this year too.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yeah, I went to the spring game. I'm very much heartened by the possibilities for the new quarterbacks, and we've got a lot of potential. I love watching Fuente, and I've only seen him in like 2 games last season where he totally lost his cool, and he was justified in doing that. During that time, because that helped his whole team to kind of move on, and I was at that bowl game last year, and that was something.
You're a big fan, of course, but he doesn't have the personality that Beamer does. But of course, he's still young and he's still learning about his ropes in Blacksburg. But Cathy, all the best. Once again, give us your website.
Yeah, my website, elementsforpersonalhealing.com.
We all need it, folks. We all need it. Take time, reflect during the day. If not, give Cathy Dress a call. Cathy, thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
You're welcome. Stay cool in this heat.
You too. Drink some water.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Cathy.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Bye-bye.
And this show will be archived later. Don't forget gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows as well. All right. Also, want to thank our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Great place for the pick and roll. Outstanding lunch and dinner menu 7 days a week. They've got excellent mini corn dogs, mozzarella sticks for appetizers, chips and salsa, boneless and traditional wings, excellent summer salads, burgers, wraps and sandwiches. They have it all. Tenders and Macs, drinks, sweet spots like cheesecake bites, or as well as the chocolate fudge cake, as well as something for the kids. And, of course, they team up for kids all the time. And, of course, a great party menu. Large crowd, bring B-dubs, take out to your next party or event. For more, log on to BuffaloWildWings.com. Go by to the Newport News location specifically. Get great service. They will give it to you from their wonderful staff like Paul Odette and their wonderful staff. 249-3999. Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Take a break. Wall-to-wall sports on TV. Excellent wings. Kick back. Stay out of the heat. Go to Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Lunch, dinner, late night. Catering, they do it all at Buffalo Wild Wings. Enjoy your next meal at Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Stay tuned.
5 days a week at the crack of dawn, John Fredericks gives you exclusive world-class nonstop coverage of our political madhouse. But what does he do on a Saturday? J-Fred. Saturday afternoon, 2 to 5, it's the all-new Best of John Fredericks show. Best guests, best interviews, Best of John Fredericks. Saturdays, 2 p.m. on WHKT, AM 1650 and 92.5 FM.
Trouble selling your house? Don't want to fix it up to sell it or don't have the money for repairs? We have the solutions for you. JB Property Solutions will purchase your home as is. Veteran-owned JB Property Solutions works with buyers, sellers, investors, and real estate agents, and they use sustainable building materials and methods. For a free consultation, go online to jbpropertysolutions.net or call 757-932-8998. JB Property Solutions will solve your real estate stress.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
WHKT The Answer wants to thank our advertisers for their support, and we're committed to delivering advertising results. We reach an upscale educated audience that's hard to reach anywhere else, and the majority of the net profit we produce is invested in the community. Our advertisers' marketing dollars support missions, charities, and organizations throughout Hampton Roads and beyond. That's why we exist. To learn more about marketing and our unique business model, call 488-1010, that's 488-1010, or go to 1650theanswer.com.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
All right, a local's tradition is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. Enjoy NASCAR, Major League Baseball, of course, golf, soccer, tennis. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers as well. All right, before we introduce our next guest, take a listen.
Hey, Neil, congratulations on the new car.
Yeah, thanks. But look, I've already got a ding.
Well, you should probably call the Dent Pro.
Who's the Dent Pro?
You're talking to him. Hey, folks, this is Tom Wilburn with the Dent Pro. The Dent Pro provides paintless dent repair services to Hampton Roads, Gloucester, and Richmond, repairing small dents, door dings, and hail damage. My service is mobile, and satisfaction is guaranteed. For more information, just Google The Dent Pro.
The Dent Pro saves money, time, and the factory paint. Google The Dent Pro.
Very good. How are you, Tommy?
Hey, Greg. How are you?
Good, my friend.
Thanks for playing that.
Kind of like the magic of radio, 92.5 FM, 1650 AM. Folks listening on TuneIn.com. Well, how's the summer been, and what's been the main focus for the Dent Pro this summer?
Hey, I tell you what, trying to stay cool. Someone turned the thermostat up a little bit, and it looks like we're not going to get a reprieve till maybe the weekend. 2017's been a big breakout year for the Dent Pro, folks. Right now, we're in the process of licensing the business so that go-getters, self-motivated individuals who are interested in claiming their American dream can make it happen. Hopefully, later this summer, everything will be finalized, and then we can start actively pursuing that aspect of the business. The hailstorm that the area got hit with in late February, and there was another one in early March, has kept us pretty busy on top of our regular business, taking care of the dealers and the individual car owner. So we've we've been basically running it probably 90% steam right now, trying to keep everybody and they're taken care of dent-wise.
Yeah, not to mention, too, during the summer, people's patience get thin. They're driving around without air conditioning. They're on 64 bumper to bumper, and then what happens? They run into each other's car.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate fact, and the Dent Pro does repair plastic dented bumpers. So if you've got like one of those big ugly dents in the corner of your plastic bumper, whether it's a van or mid-sized car, we can fix that. Now, we don't do any painting. We can get the dent out, and if you're all right with that, then that's going to save you a whole bunch of money. And your factory paint will still remain intact, other than if there's any paint scraped on the bumper. Because once again, we don't do that. We'll just get the dent out. And the service is mobile. We come to you, and satisfaction is guaranteed. If anybody's got any questions as to exactly what it is that the Dent Pro does, I would highly encourage you, when you get a moment, to Google the Dent Pro. I'm a member of the Better Business Bureau. I have over 50 5-star reviews on my Better Business Bureau link. I just achieved over 100 5-star reviews on my Google business link. And those are genuine reviews. I do not give discounts or incentives for people to leave a review. That's something they choose to do, and I'm very grateful for that.
Right, you service the 757 and beyond, right?
Yes, I service the South Side, the Peninsula, Gloucester, Williamsburg, and we're expanding into Richmond, which is where I'm at right now.
Right, of course. Give us the phone number one more time and the website.
The phone number is 757-310-8417, and the website is www.thedentpro.biz, B-I-Z.
And you can see Tom's link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. This will be archived later. Tommy, thank you for also putting them on your website as well. And we enjoyed your commercial and hope to hear your voice on here very soon.
Hey, Greg, thank you very much. I want to wish everybody a great rest of the month and the rest of the year, and it's a pleasure being on your show. And thank you again for everything you do for the community. And, Tom, it's another very important thing. Folks, Google the Dent Pro, right? Yes. Thanks, Greg. Yep, absolutely. Very good. All right, very good. All right, folks, let's get to What Tees Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And also this week by PaneraBread.com. Thanks to Christian and the great staff. Excellent soups, sandwiches, salads, breakfast, beverages, bagels. Get a smoothie, get some great tea right there at Panera in Harborview in 6255 College Drive in Suffolk. Give them a call, 483-3670. Open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Panera Bread, food as it should be. It's always clean, fresh, 100% clean. They also deliver. They cater to large groups as well and have a rapid pickup option. PaneraBread.com. Go by and see Christian. All right, what tees me off? When someone out of nowhere, Joe Daniel, walks by you, invading your space out of surprise with no elbow room, how about space it out instead of walking by so close no matter where you're at?
You've just described every checkout line out of Walmart, pretty much.
Or, how about coming into a parking lot, you're getting out of the car with your kids, and all of a sudden somebody walks right by you like, parallel.
Well, that's the worst when a car just like gets so close to you, and like you said, and you're with your kids, and you're like, geez, you got the whole parking lot pretty much, and you're just right next to me.
Like the expression, stay out of my grill, the car in my physical space. How about this? Cutting lines, no excuse ever.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Wait your turn. Patience. It's a virtue, I've heard.
Yeah. And let's allow some space when driving. If you notice, we're getting closer and closer, whether we're on the interstate or also the local highways.
Right, yeah. People, it's worse when obviously there's somebody going slower. You think that'll help motivate them to move faster. I don't think that really works. I don't think anybody really has felt like, hey, that's really nice. Thank you for doing that for me.
Right. I went to Florida recently, and of course, this airlines that starts with an S. Folks, they don't make reservations at that airlines. So if you have a seat and you're holding it for Johnny or Susie, you can't do that. It's open serve when you have no reservations. I understand when you have kids, you got to have them next to you, but other than that, it's wide open. Yeah. Do I have to keep saying North Korea every week? It's an issue that is about to explode. We're hiding it behind all this Russia drama, which nobody really cares about. North Korea's got a narcissist dictator. Best thing is to overthrow him and make Korea one country again.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, that's tricky stuff. I mean, obviously easier said than done.
And he's hiding behind the Russia stuff that we're focusing on here.
Sure.
As well. Talking to someone at a business or personally, and they're too lazy to turn around, so basically you're just talking to their back.
Yeah, I mean, they're busy too, I guess, but no, I mean, if somebody's talking to you, yeah, I mean, giving them, at least making eye contact with them.
Turn
and
the
not
back
just like,
around, folks.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't care how lazy you are. Asking a waitress several times for water or tea.
Oh yeah, my brother-in-law, this is his number one pet peeve, and this is how he will decide how much to tip, is how attentive are they to my drinks, especially water. He drinks water like a fish.
Especially in the summer, too.
Exactly, yeah. Be attentive.
How about this, talking to a person, the same thing, and they'd rather text Facebook or be a messenger, so they're not listening to you or anything else.
Yeah.
Adults who are in relentless ruts. You know those people, the Debbie Downers of the world.
Yeah. Get some positivity. Smile.
How about this? People in passenger seats with their feet lounging out of the windows going 65 miles per hour.
It feels good. The breeze between your toes. It feels real nice.
Right. And the expression, wait for it, that is so childish. Let's not wait for anything, folks. Let's just go for it. Anyway, I want to thank our great guests, a really interesting guest, Joe Daniel, Andy Hilton from Recruit 757. Cathy Dress gave us some Dr. Phil-like psychology there for sports and non-sports and just personal healing with her great website, and also Tom Wilburn from The Dent Pro. We'll be back again next Wednesday from 12 to 1. Don't forget to go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link for archive shows, and at Greg Bick on Twitter. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Stay cool. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650, WHKT Portsmouth, 92.5 FM, W223CT Norfolk. For your daily supply of news and talk, we are The Answer.